Okay, thanks for watching. As promised, this is a brief for Level 5 Revenue Management, Sales and Hotel Analytics Coursework 1. As you've seen in the unit handbook, you've got initial information, so it tells you what the task's going to be about, the learning outcomes assessed, etc. That's all fairly straightforward, together with the submission date 9th of the 12th, and you'll submit that through Turnitin, which will be on Moodle, and I'll show you how to do that in class if you haven't already done it. So you'll be introduced to a case study, and you'll produce a report, maximum word length of 2,500 words. As it says in the task, you're expected to apply appropriate revenue management strategy and tactics to the case study to optimize revenue. So that using the strategy and tactics to optimize revenue should be a theme throughout each section of your report. So you must make sure that when you're talking about theoretical elements, you put them into context in terms of how you will use them to maximize revenue for the hotel that you're discussing. The case study itself talks about, sets the scene, so you've recently been appointed as a revenue manager, etc., and it gives you some parameters of how the hotel's performing. In particular, the bottom of the first paragraph, you're looking at occupancy, ADR and RevPAR, because we've already discussed that those are the three main benchmarking parameters. So then in your report, the board's asked you to prepare a report on the current status and of the hotel, and then the strategy that you use to optimize revenue within the hotel. So if you look just where my mouse is flicking over now, you see it's highlighted in yellow. These are all the topics that you're expected to discuss in your report. So you're looking at those topics, what they are, and how they're going to help you strategize in terms of optimizing revenue. As already mentioned, your report must follow a logical structure, which is what we've discussed in class already, and I'm also making reference to in this short podcast. And you should include at least 15 references from academic or credible sources. And again, you've pretty much been given those on the Moodle site already, but we'll go through those as each topic is covered in lectures. This here is an example of a contents page from a particularly good assignment last year. So this is a structure that you can use for your report. You might want to change it around, you might want to reword it slightly, but if you look, all the different sections cover all the sections that are mentioned in the case study itself. So we'll start with the first one, introduction. What you're doing there is talking about what the report will achieve, and you'll refer back to the case study brief which alludes to the issues, i.e. you'll talk about the fact that it's a hotel in the city centre of Manchester, it's a 5-star property, and you'll talk about all the different things that the case study's told you about occupancy, ADR and revenue, and where it sits within its competitive set. If you're going to use demand management as your first section, as suggested on the outline you've already been shown, you need to do a number of things. You need to define what demand management is, tell me how it works and what are all the different components of it, and then talk about how that's going to help you optimize future demand. So we know already that the components are historical data, current data, future data. So tell me what those are, a little bit more about them, and then how you can use those to optimize future demand. So in other words, how you can use them to help you in your forecasting. Next section, consumer behavior. So talk about why the revenue manager uses consumer behavior. where consumer behaviour fits into revenue management, and with that, all the components we discussed in the lecture, and you've got references to back that up, but also talk about the importance of user-generated content, because that's at the forefront of contemporary consumer behaviour models. It's the user-generated content that puts pressure on and influences consumer behaviour. Next, you're going to talk about market segmentation and price optimization. So first things you've got to do is define what market segmentation is and how we use them. So how do market segmentation and price optimization fit together? How do you use market segmentation to optimize the price you can charge? And what's most important, as I've said before, you're preparing a report for a specific bunch of people, so you've got to explain how market segmentation and price optimization relates to the points raised in the case study and how that fits into your report. Next one, distribution channel management. So we haven't done it yet, but by the time you come to write your report, we will have done distribution channel management. So I want a brief introduction as to what distribution channels are, then talk about specifically direct distribution channels, give me some idea of what types of channels there are that are direct, and some examples of indirect distribution channels. And then again, finally, how these can be used in the case study strategy. So how you can use distribution channel management to help with revenue management for your particular hotel. Next one, digital marketing. What are the different types of digital marketing? Look at paid and unpaid digital marketing. So unpaid will be your social media, all that sort of stuff. And paid might be sponsored things that the hotel specifically pays for. How do both of those two types fit into strategy? How can you use them to your benefit in terms of maximising revenue? Marketing intelligence for Manchester. Because the case study is based in Manchester, we have a specific lecture set around market intelligence where you will be gathering market intelligence for Manchester through the various sources available. So you'll be able to use this to tell the reader of your report what sources can you use and how do those sources help, what do they actually provide. So that market intelligence, how can it help you? What information will it provide you in order to help you forecast, to strategize distribution channels, price optimization, all those other things that we've talked about previously. Total revenue management, tell me what it is and how we can use it. So talk about in hotels, it's not just rooms, it's all the other areas of income generation, how we can manage those strategically to fit in with our main consumer product, and how we can use total revenue management to optimize revenue for the whole hotel. Last section, your conclusions and your recommendations. So your conclusions will be, well, what have we found out? What have we found out about all these different sections, and then how we can use them as an overall strategy to improve and optimize revenue management at our hotel. So it's sort of like the capstone chapter for your report, bringing in all the information that you've already discussed from your other paragraphs. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. Any questions, obviously see me in lectures.